It's time for Blumpkin and Friends, starring your host, the Reverend Johnny Blumpkin.
Hey kids, I'm the Reverend Johnny Blumpkin, and with me today is my friend,
Neil.
Neil is back. The main topic today is we need to go back in time, and much like we addressed our former Juggalo lifestyle on the podcast, on the show, we're going to address the fact that kind of linked into that is that we used to kind of be wiggers, sort of.
Kind of.
We went through a very heavy rap phase and dressing goofy. We weren't like full-blown wiggers, but we did appropriate some black culture to an extent that now I'm a little embarrassed about.
Yes.
Very ghetto. Big saggy shorts and pants, oversized shirts, hats with goofy bends. Not flat brim hats, but goofy bends to the brim and wearing them all cockamamie and shit and big dumb fake.
This was before that stupid sticker on the hat flat brim trend.
I hate that shit.
I just want to, I mean, how satisfying would it be just to run up to someone's sticker and rip it off and then stick it on their shirt? Like, it's not like they're going to reapply their sticker.
Gotcha, bitch!
I wonder how much it would piss somebody off.
It's got to piss them off because it's like it's not like it's against the law. It's a fucking sticker. It's like, oh, I didn't realize you wanted that on there. I thought you didn't realize it was there.
Oh, really?
So for me, my romance with black culture in America started with rap music.
Rap.
And yes, it started solely with rap, and it started with the group Onyx and the song Slam.
Onyx, really? Because I remember mine story different, and I don't know if this is before we met or not, when had Dr. Dre's The Chronic.
I also had The Chronic.
Yeah, but I don't know when you got it and when. I mean, the way I got into it was I heard that he had that CD, and back then, like, those, the boom boxes that had CD and tapes on them, you could just play the CD and then just hit record on the tape, and you literally just pirate your own cassette copy of a CD. So I did that with Dr. Dre's The Chronic, and I remember going into school, I brought it, and I was in band, I was playing the saxophone, so I had this tape and a Sony Walkman in there, in my saxophone case, and I played it for this other kids, and, nobody had heard anything like that, and it's just, I remember playing the one song, just, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
It always comes down to a gimmick track. With ICP, it was the Ned game. And I don't even know what the hell you called it. Wasn't that a hidden track?
I don't think so. No, I think it was just a track. It was like one of the later ones, but I remember playing that like for everybody, and they were just so amazed at how dirty it was. And I think, I must have been I was pretty young at the time, preteen. So, and I got everybody into it, and then people are sitting there wanting me to make tapes for them. So then I would make tapes for them of it. They'd have to provide it, otherwise I'd make them pay for it. But most people had tons of blank cassette tapes back then. So.
Or ones they wanted you to tape over that they didn't care
exactly.
About. See, The Chronic was the first rap album I ever had on CD. But I had Onyx's single of Slam on cassette that I got from the Duluth Target after seeing the video.
For free? Or you paid for it?
I paid for it.
Because down in the valley used to give out, and I used to get a ton of these. They were promotional cassettes that had one track on them, and I had a ton of them, and that's why I got a lot of rap too that we kind of might have gotten into or something. You'd listen to it, and then the theory was that you'd either buy the CD or buy the album if you liked one track.
You got to be kidding me!
But they used to give those out just they had them at the front door, and they just had tons of different artists. I remember the first time I heard Fish, and when I was young, I just couldn't stand them. I had a little tape of Fish, and I played it, and I just hated it so much. Just gave it away.
I would have probably burned it.
Yeah.
I didn't have Down in the Valley when I was a kid around where I lived. So, like, I, on MTV, would see the Dre Day and also Nothing But a G Thing video, and that got me into rap. And that also Cypress Hill's Insane in the Membrane video.
Yeah.
So this goes back to when I joined Columbia House. My parents caught me like picking out the stickers to put on there, and my dad ripped it all to shit, and I fished it out of the garbage and taped it up.
Yep.
And then I sent it in, and I got Dr. Dre's The Chronic, Cypress Hill's Black Sunday, the Menace to Society soundtrack.
Yep.
Inner Circle. Remember them? Reggae act?
No.
They fucking
yeah.
with the
Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Song. Yeah.
And then some other crap. And then apparently Blind Melon. I don't know why I got Blind Melon. I was way too into MTV at the time.
I don't know how we knew of Menace to Society then at the time. Like, I don't know if it was like a thing with my brother too. Because I know I had a VHS just dubbed copy of it. And I don't know if that's how we watched it. Somehow we got a hold of it. Because we had some kind of ghetto friend. Like, and I both had a pretty ghetto friend growing up.
Yeah.
And we were both... And one of our
Are we
friends...
talking about you-know-who Sobes?
Him, and then this other neighbor, and then this other neighbor of his that was right behind our house was... We used to call him O-Dog. He was Asian. I used to call him O-Dog directly from Menace to Society. And they were into some bad stuff. I remember, like, I mean, they used to... I mean, well, I guess at the time it was really bad stuff, but it was like smoking and drinking at like 8... I mean, we were in like 6th and 7th grade.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's, I mean, bad stuff for 6th graders.
How did factor into this at all?
He was just a neighborhood kid down the road.
He was just a nerdy one, though, right?
His dad was pretty religious.
I'm going to have to bleep so many fucking names after the last 2 minutes of talking. Well, so if you watch enough MTV, and then people are starting to buy baggier pants and sag their pants, and then I don't just the imagery of all that. Like, I bought my shirts way too big. And it wasn't necessarily that I was trying to emulate rappers, but that was like kind of the urban dress style, is your clothes were way too big for you and your pants were baggy. So I got into that.
Yeah.
And just a fucking big fake gold rolled necklace that I got.
Oh, yeah, the fake gold necklaces.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, I remember, like, the FUBU. I mean, how much FUBU stuff did we own?
I had one jersey.
You had one jersey? I mean, I know...
that.
I had the football jersey, and I think I had some other stuff. I know I had a regular T-shirt, and then I remember that we were at the Medina flea market, and we found these fake FUBU T-shirts. I mean, it looked just like the logo, but then when you go look at the tag, it doesn't say FUBU. It had like an M&M's logo.
It was supposed to be PB for peanut butter M&M's.
PB instead of FB.
They were straight up ripping off the FUBU logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somehow I got gifted one of those shirts.
Yeah. I mean, we probably paid nothing for it. It was a flea market.
I bought, for a number of years, just about every rap CD that I could get my hands on, because I would read the source and XXL, and then I'd watch BET's, like, I don't know, like top 10.
Yeah, they had their
the
countdown thing, yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking, that's how I got into Wu-Tang Clan. That's how I got into Master P and the No Limit Soldiers. I still stayed into Onyx and everybody on Def Jam Records, including EPMD and Redman. It's also how I got into 3-6 Mafia, who I still listen to.
No Tupac and Biggie?
I kind of listened to Biggie a little.
I had Tupac a lot. I liked Tupac a lot back then. I really didn't have... I had one Biggie album, I think, but I don't know where I got it from.
I wasn't huge on Tupac. I listened to Tupac, but I didn't like buy a bunch of his albums. A lot of the shit that I was into was more like danceable. It wasn't so much gangster rap. Like, I never got into NWA then, but I'm into NWA now. And my cousin got me into Beastie Boys and Eazy-E. It's a weird combination.
You didn't? I was pretty into Bone Thugs and Harmony back then.
Yeah, I got into them, but at the point when they became popular, I was still listening to like Snoop Dogg and Dre and other stuff. And somebody's like, "You listen to alt rap?" I'm like, "I like what I like."
You dumbass.
It's the fucking Chronic.
Yeah.
Which being the first album I ever purchased, which even though I had heard songs, it was the first album I went and made an effort to obtain.
Yep.
That influenced me exponentially. So I really liked Dre's production on the West Coast sound. And then it just turned into me dressing all gangstery and talking sort of hood. And, oh, God, those fucking stupid 9mm Glock-looking BB guns we got at Walmart that we started carrying around with us.
They look exactly like a Glock.
They did.
I mean, it amazes me that anybody could go in and buy this at the time.
They still have them.
Well, I mean, they probably have an orange tip on them now.
I don't think they do anymore.
They have to, I think, by law.
The airsoft. And when I say that we bought these to carry them around, we would shoot stuff with them. Yeah. And then we'd jokingly put them in our waistband like we were gangster. So, I mean, as much as it sounds like we were just acting black and being stupid and being wiggers, it was more or less like I was into the music. I wasn't like looking around for magazines of bikini black girls and stuff like that. I wasn't like trying to pretend I was black. which if there was this drama on TV back in the day called Picket Fences, and they had this reoccurring character, this blonde white kid who acted like he was black and basically pretended he was black.
Uh-huh.
And he was one of the dudes in the hip-hop duo Quo, Quo. It was him and this black dude. Which, all of this then, of course, the natural progression is to inspire me to write my own raps, which is why we have to confess to something else. There's a confession inside the confession, and it comes in the form of admitting that we talked about being a rap duo.
A little bit more than talked about it.
So I actively wrote lyrics. I mean, I've always been a writer, but I actively wrote lyrics for several songs, and we went so far as to pick out a name for our rap duo, which I thought was fucking inventive.
Yeah.
And what was that going to be?
Crash and Burn.
Crash and Burn. And then, since obviously I was writing, you started writing, and that's things took an awkward turn there.
Yeah. Well, because there was basically I got the stupid idea from Adam Sandler's Ode to My Car to write a song. Even though we both lived with our parents, it was like the front was that Crash and Burn lived in like a shitty house, and that the song was called Our House Sucks Cock, and it was basically a parody of Ode to My Car by Adam Sandler.
Yes, which, if you don't know, is the piece of shit car song.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just going to recite for you the lyrics that I remember. You feel free to you wrote this shit, so you get to laugh at yourself. It was, our house sucks cock. We don't even have a lock on the door. You filthy fucking whore. That's literally all I can remember. And, if there was more, I imagine it was all a dip in quality from that point.
Or there was some line that was like, we can't even turn on the lamps because all we have is food stamps. There was another line that was like that.
You're a terrible writer.
That was terribly amazing.
Yeah.
If that was an Adam Sandler song, that would have been a million single hit. And I'd be like, oh, that's so fucking genius. But it's since it's some white suburban kid, and I don't have any minority in me whatsoever.
That is true.
It's not.
You might have
unique.
ended up with some minority in you.
Yeah.
Because they probably would have jailed you for artistic treason, and then somebody would have had a 8-car pileup on your Hershey Highway. It would have all been Cadillacs and Oldsmobiles. Big hoopties.
I don't know. It was a very short... we had some artwork, and that's about it, and just some drawings. I don't remember who was supposed to be Crash and who was supposed to be Burn.
I'm pointing at me. I was Crash and
you
you
were Crash
Burn.
and I was Burn. Okay.
I don't know how we devised that.
Was it because I had the Pyro Chaos thing going on, maybe?
I think that gave way to the Pyro Chaos.
Well, I started that when we got AOL.
Jesus.
The original AOL CD, and you had to make a screen name. And I was like, I always like the Pyro names, and I was like, oh, Pyro Chaos. And since I must have been like 13 at the time of AOL, maybe even 12, and because I remember going in the teen chat rooms when I was 12, so it must have been when I was 12 when I started that Pyro Chaos name.
Thank God there weren't To Catch a Predator style molesting.
Oh, they probably were.
Then.
There probably was, but who knows?
Nah, it was still too new, so people hadn't mastered the art.
Yeah,
form yet.
well, those perverts didn't know about that stuff, so they were still hanging around playgrounds.
Wait, so I can go online, I can make a profile, I can talk to children from the comfort of my home, and then I can have them meet me somewhere, and then I can fondle them?
Well, you could just send a picture. I mean, you could put anything as your profile picture. I remember these girls, supposedly I think they were from Canada at the time, and when I was a teen in the teen chat rooms, and they sent me a supposed picture of one of them, because you always just send the picture after talking, and it was a picture of Mandy Moore. Not a candid picture of her, but just like a normal picture of her, and I'm like, this is fucking Mandy Moore. Like, there's no way this chick happens to just look like Mandy Moore. So she was probably, catfishing me, so. But I never met up with them. They lived in Canada, so.
Yeah, I never got to be that bad. We were never like Malibu's Most Wanted.
No, but I mean, like in my high school, it was kind of like I hung out with all the black kids, and I mean, back then it was Wayzata High School, so
Trojans.
But the thing is they brought in people from Minneapolis and stuff, but it was like all the black kids then, they didn't care that I was a white dude. They would just hang out with me because we liked the same stuff. Right. And remember, starter jackets were a big thing too with the gangster crowd.
Yeah, that was more junior high for us, though.
Okay, that was earlier. We used to rip on each other and stuff too, and I had braces back then, so it was like...
Oh, yeah, so did I.
this. I remember this one kid who was half black. He had this big, whatever the cleft in his teeth, I guess. When they have the gap in there.
Yeah.
The Lawrence Fishburne.
Jesus.
He had that, and he used to always give me crap about braces and stuff. And he'd be like, "Oh," he's like, "Look at you look like a nerd with braces." And I told him, I'm like, "Hey, man," I go, I have a good orthodontist. I can hook you up, get that gap closed." Everybody just ripping on each other like friends do, and just having a good time. And
whereas I went to Catholic high school, so the only black kids that went there, like 2 of them went there because they were on academic partial scholarships and their families were rich. Most of them were getting bussed in from out of city to play sports. So there weren't a lot of black kids.
Huh.
There was under 1,000 kids in my high school, and I'd say maybe 20 black kids. Think about that one. So there's like 900 and some kids, usually like 20 black kids. I hung out with a few black dudes, and everybody always, race was never really an issue much in my grade, but they had some juniors that were 2 years older than me when I was a freshman that tried to get in a fight with some of the black kids from the basketball team and got their asses kicked. These were the like rebel flag in the back of their truck crowd. And fucking idiots.
I don't know. I don't think any had any problems in our school, at least high school. But it was such a big school, and it was kind of like, you had the black kids that were shipped in from Minneapolis, and then you had the rich black kids, like Marion Barber. His
did
dad.
He go to your high school?
Yeah, he was 1 grade underneath me.
No shit.
Yeah.
And he was in the NFL.
Yep.
And look what you did.
Absolutely nothing.
I should probably point out, and I've mentioned that when we were in junior high, Neil and I, we are the same age. He's got, 6 months on me on age, but we were always in the same grade. So that's what I mean when we were in junior high. We didn't go to any of the same schools. We almost went to the same high school at one point.
Yeah.
Your parents were almost going to send you to where I went, but then it fell.
They were looking at Benilde for my brother and I. And then they were looking at, because was into some pretty bad high school run there. Like it was just the same neighbor kids that I was talking about earlier.
Delinquency, bad influences.
Yeah, it was with the same neighbor kids I was talking about earlier. So that's why they looked at sending me there, and then they were looking at other schools as well. But I just ended up staying at Wayzata.
You know what I remember the most about my love of rap music?
What?
My dad's hatred of rap music. I would make tapes, like you were saying, like I'd make mixtapes and play them in his truck on the ride home from school on the years that he drove me. And he's just like, "How do you like this?" He's like, "This is how it all sounds to me. Motherfucker, motherfucker, nigga, nigga, motherfucker, nigga, 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 motherfucker, nigga." I'm like, oh, he's pretty much got it down.
I think that's actually a 2 Live Crew song.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they did. They did not really like that I was into that shit, but I was. And in hindsight, while I was listening to all of that rap, and a lot of it I still appreciate most of the artists I was into, like Rakim and KRS-One, but that was like on the hip-hop side. I missed out on so much fucking good rock music that I wasn't listening to Pantera, who I love now, and Bush, who I love now, and a lot of like Nirvana and Pearl Jam stuff. I was too busy listening to fucking rap.
Yeah.
You did both.
Yeah, I did. I knew all the main rock and alternative. Alternative was pretty big in the 90s. They had originally it was 93X, then they became 93.7 The Edge, which is alternative. And then they became 93X again.
You know what made the whole being into rap music way too much worse?
What?
Greg.
Yeah. And his friends, they were all,
Carl and Diddy.
And then, oh God, it's like if you think about, the subs, the Blazer.
His boombox Blazer, and he'd pretty much just go to the store and buy like 10 CDs at a time.
We looked up to him so much too.
Kind of.
Kind of to a certain point.
Let's start from the beginning. Up north, there was this dude that had a Chevy Blazer, and he had big subs in it. And him and his friend would walk around with their saggy shorts and shit, smoking with their hats backwards, and blue bandanas hanging out of their back pocket.
Yeah.
And I kind of mocked that. And then one day, we were up in front of the main building, fucking around, making prank phone calls on a payphone, which is something we did a lot of, making prank phone calls. And then he and Carl came up. And I don't know, that he tried to like intimidate us. He's like, "Why are you guys talking shit?" I'm like, "It's not it at all." So I somehow pulled a verbal rope-a-dope on Greg, who wanted to kick the shit out of me And he was like 3 years older than us.
For some reason, I thought Carl like did something to you, and then you said you like somehow brought it right back on him, and then Greg just started laughing his ass off. That's what I thought had happened.
I don't remember. I basically turned it around into joking, and then from the point where he wanted to kick our asses to we started hanging out, and then being really good, fucking awesome friends. I can't tell you how many people I've met, and it seems like a natural human progression. You just sit there and focus on your differences because your guard is up and you're young and immature and trying to seem tough, and then you realize how much you have in common with somebody, and you get that ugliness out of the way right away, and it's like, it's easy to be friends. Like, Greg wanted to kick my ass. Talked shit about my mom, and then I punched him in the back of the head. We didn't get along too well at first, and at one point you threw a hunk of asphalt at me, and then I clobbered you in the kidney with a fucking golf club. You just got to get all the ugliness out of the way. Not to mention that number one fan, Tim, and I were fighting over a girl, even though we were friends. So a lot of my friends I've known for 15 or more years, except for like the Blaine Menard's friends I've known since 6. Yeah. So that's still 10 years. So yeah, Greg, oh God, he was even worse of a wigger, because the reason that they were wearing those bandanas in their pocket is because they were apparently in a gang.
Supposedly.
Throwing up air quotes, in a gang.
Yeah. We
never found out what that gang was or who their affiliates were, but
we just didn't realize that at the time because they were older than us. You know, this is before, I mean, they could, well, I don't know if he was old enough to drink, but they would always drink. I don't know if their parents were buying them the booze.
His folks were cool with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of like he always had beer, you know, and it's like older people that have, you know, that are drinking all the time and smoking weed all the time too. And, you know, they have their cars that had the subs, and he used to always want to cruise into town to try to find women, which, I mean, in Pine City, there's...
Oh, God. I mean, you could go to, like, the park, you could go to the pizza pub, or you could go to the A&W, or at the time, Pomida, before Walmart opened. I just remember that one summer, how many times we were cruising around to the song Ghetto Superstar off the Bullworth soundtrack, and, like, the Pine County Fair and the fireworks.
Yep.
That shit. Oh, my God, I just thought of something.
What?
You remember the first time that I jokingly tried to play chicken with another car? Greg and Carl in
and they're screaming.
So we're driving down one of the main drags in Pine City at night, and I'm like, hey guys, check this out. And I had done this with Neil a number of times. We thought it was hilarious. I shut the lights off on my car.
This is at night.
And I moved over to the oncoming lane with another car, like maybe a half a mile down the road. Yeah. And then suddenly I turned the lights back on.
Flash the lights on, and then you turn the lights back off, and then go back into your lane.
So basically I was pretending I was going to play chicken. And I did it. And Greg is like, what the fuck are you doing? You're in the wrong fucking lane. I'm like, quit being a fucking pussy.
They were screaming, like Carl and Diddy.
Get out of the fucking lane.
Oh my God.
Oh God damn, that was fun.
Yeah.
One thing you should know is that if you don't fuck with your friends, if you don't like mess with your friends and play pranks and shit, you're not having the best friendship you could possibly be. If you can't find somebody that you relate to and then fuck with each other all the time just to get laughs out of it, you're not living up to your friendship's potential. It's so much fun because at least you know that if you pull a really dickish prank, like, I don't know, putting an entire apartment's worth of hidden gay pornography up, they're still going to be a good sport about it. Mostly. I still remember we went to like the Isani County Fair or something, and that was the night that Greg tried to make me try smoking.
Cigarettes or?
Yeah, he gave me a cigarette. He gave you one, and then he gave me one. And he's like, you're going to smoke that. And I just put it on my ear. He's like, you're going to smoke that or you're not getting a ride home. And then just out of nowhere, I'm like, yeah, good luck with that going back to the campground and then telling my mom that you don't know where I am because you left me at the Isani County Fair, dum-dum. And she's going to wonder where I'm at. And I'm going to go, oh, yeah, Greg wouldn't give me a ride home because he tried to peer pressure me into smoking and said that he wouldn't give me a ride home if I didn't do it. We're making Greg sound like a shitty person, but Greg's actually a really awesome dude who manages his own business. Now he took over this oil change place. He married some chick that had multiple children with developmental disabilities, and he was a stepfather to all of them, and he took awesome care of them. It was just weird.
Well, I'm sure he grew out of that phase, too, just like we did.
Did he even graduate high school? Or did he drop out?
No, I think so, because he went to some... I don't know if he went to AR or what. He went to some school for automotive.
Yeah, but I think he got his GED, and then he just maybe worked full-time instead of going to college.
Maybe.
And my mom's like, that's a terrible role model. Oh, yeah, he's going to make so much money now, but what about in the future? Well, he seems to be doing pretty fucking good, Linda.
Yeah.
He still runs that business to this day as far as I fucking know.
And what is she doing?
Getting
Every
closer
day
and
for work?
closer to late life adult type 2 onset diabetes from having so much extra body fat that when she waves her arm, it's like a flying squirrel. It's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, Linda, you really need to get your ass out on the street and go for a jog. It's unfortunate you waited this long in life to try to take physical fitness seriously, and your knees are bad, and your back is bad, and you're 67 years old, and you just seem to have all kinds of weird mental illness. White people are crazy.
Maybe you should download Pokemon Go for her. Get her walking.
That's not going to work. She doesn't have a smartphone.
Maybe if she had a smartphone, it was instead of Pokemon Go, it was like McDonald's Go.
She just got a fucking Facebook account like 2 months ago, and she doesn't have a profile pic because she can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, but what if she adds you?
No. If I haven't even tried to find her, and I should probably block her.
Yeah, you
But
probably
anyway,
should.
I'm like, here's the deal. Have Dad take a picture of you with his work phone, and then he'll email it to you, and then I'll fucking upload it to Facebook for you. And you can have a picture so everybody can see your retarded haircut.
We're an unusual family.
Oh, God. Another thing with Greg's parents is I just like to point out that on my 16th birthday, I got BJ from some drunk chick that I was kind of dating in their van.
Yep.
And you and Greg kept busting in on us. And Greg's like, hey, what's going on? You having a good time? I'm like, come on.
Well, yeah, but you also made her practice on popsicles before that.
Well, she was nervous. I told her, I'm like, you can practice on popsicles.
And she's like, you didn't realize she freaking knobs down popsicles with her teeth.
That was a toothy BJ. But so between that and the one time you walked to the back door of my parents' camper and I was getting a beach.
Yeah.
And I waved at you. And you looked and you're like, and I just pointed to my arm like I have a watch and put 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Meet me at the playground. I use sign language to signal go away for 5 minutes so I can finish getting this blowjob. And that's why I tell people sometimes when they first meet you, I haven't gotten a chance to like say this line to anybody for years, but I'm like, well, cool thing about Neil is if I had a nickel for every time he walked in on me getting a blowjob, I'd have 3 nickels. Most people would probably think that's going to end with I'd be rich.
Yeah.
But when I can quantify it with an actual number, that makes it way funnier.
Yeah. You remember Greg's sister, though, too.
Yeah.
She was a large girl, but she had really hot friends.
She did. She did.
And for some reason, I don't know if I was super nervous back then, I did not make any moves on the hot one that wanted me.
I would say that neither one of us knew how to talk to women worth a shit back then.
No.
And most likely also not so much now. The only difference is you got married and took your dick off the map. And I shit out 2 kids without even trying. And now it's like an uphill battle to find anybody that's worth dating. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
What other Wigger-like stuff did we do? I just remember not being taken very seriously for a while in high school before I dropped the whole rap thing and got really into heavy metal. Thank God for Slipknot that got me out of that phase. Where at one point I was wearing a one of those golf visors.
Yeah.
And I'd wear it upside down and backwards. Kind of as a joke, but kind of not as a joke. And my ride home from school was my friend, we called him Toby, as a weird reference to Roots and Kunta Kinte. He one day said, you are not wearing that fucking thing like that in my car. So either take it off or you're going to walk. And I'd like to point out that I also can throw myself under the bus here, that I had an affinity for mimicking Ice Cube in Players Club. How many people would you hear walking around going, yay, yay?
Nobody else.
Why did I do that?
I don't know.
Nobody else.
I don't remember you doing that.
I didn't do it for long.
Okay.
It didn't catch on or go over well. And then I had to reinvent myself. It's weird because some of my friends were that rebel flag in the truck, like kind of racist crowd, but they all listened like rap and shit. It didn't make any sense.
Well, remember one of my friends that used to like his freestyle was terrible.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, talk about the thing with his mom and the birthday.
I mean, basically on his birthday, like his grandparents raised him, and his grandparents were like super nice to him and brought him up as good as they could. Both of his parents were kind of out of the picture. So basically, he sees his mom on his birthday, and I think she's all drunk, or she's on something. And she basically, I don't remember what the exact quote was. It was something about...
Oh, I remember what the quote
yeah,
was.
I remember that, but I don't know what, like he said something where she's sitting there trying to hit on him. And then she goes, "Incest is the best, put your mother to the test." And that's the exact quote.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Are you prepared to take another run at the RPS challenge?
Possibly.
There's no possibly. You're doing
Yes.
it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Blumpkin and Friends brings to you the RPS Intercontinental Championship Challenge of the World. You have to go up against the Juice, who is still the current title holder.
See, I normally have this strategy that you just go all of one type. And since a lot of people seem to pick rock, I think paper is the obvious one. You're either going to tie two of them and win two, which, most likely you're either going to lose the third one and it's going to be a win overall. But against a 5-year-old, they might not think about the game as everybody else does.
Here's how she picked her hands yesterday. I'm like, baby, we got to pick your hands for the RPS challenge. I was driving and writing this down. I was doing a really bad job of driving in the car with my kids in rush hour and trying to jot notes down right legibly. And then she starts talking about, and then we'll do golden this and golden that. I'm like, what is this golden shit? What are you talking about? Which, I don't know, which also leads to the fact that they both keep going rock, paper, scissors, dynamite. I don't know where the fuck they get that from, but I'm toying with the idea of adding a dynamite option to the game, which you get 1 dynamite per game. 1 dynamite per game. And you have to use it wisely. So, here we go. Hand number 1.
Paper.
The Juice threw a rock. Point to Neil. Hand number 2.
Paper.
The Juice threw a paper. Tie. Hand number 3.
Paper.
Jesus Christ. You threw a paper.
I have a feeling she's going to actually go scissors this one.
She did go scissors this one.
because she's going through them all. That's how a 5-year-old does it.
Hand number 4.
Paper.
The Juice threw a scissors.
Oh! My strategy's not working.
Gotcha, you fucker. Hand number 5.
Paper.
The Juice threw a rock. So, point to you. Here's where we're at. You're tied at 2.
Yep.
Overtime!
How many overtime hands does...
3.
Okay.
And if you don't get it in 3, I don't know how the hell we're going to do this. Hand number 6.
I feel like I'm actually going to go scissors this time. I feel like she went paper.
Neil throws a scissors. The Juice threw a scissors.
Well, I didn't lose.
Hand number 7.
Paper.
The Juice threw paper. Tie.
Well, so now this is the last one.
I might be making a phone call here. I've never had it go to the full 3 in overtime. Hand number 8.
Paper.
Neil throws paper. The Juice threw scissors. Oh, you lost to my
I got
5-year-old.
scissored.
You got scissored.
By a
So, the
5-year-old.
winner, and still
Please never repeat that.
Rock, Paper, Scissors Intercontinental Championship Challenge Championship Champion, The Juice. Oh, you went for it.
God damn it.
You went for it. Here's the funny thing. The first time you were going to go all paper, I talked you out of it and you lost. And this time I let you do it. And
Well, I would have lost to that first scissors. And then I would have lost to the last scissors. So I would have lost again.
Well, you wouldn't have made it past the first one.
No.
You would have just gone to 6.
Yep.
So this time, I knew you were probably going to go all paper again. You go, fuck it, I'm doing it this time. And I'm looking at her hands, and I did the math in my head yesterday. I'm like, she's going to fucking win again. And she did. God, she's so good at it's weird. She's fucking good at this.
She needs to play craps. She's like, hey, I want to bring my 5-year-old to the casino and shoot some craps.
I don't think she's going to roll a 7.
No, but you're rolling, but I'm saying she just tells you where to put the bet.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if her mom would be cool with that.
I don't think the casino would be cool with that.
Fuck the casino. It's all on the beast. What other things would you like to throw in about our wiggerdom?
I don't know. I mean, both of our first cars were kind of ghetto. We used to listen to a lot of rap in there. And I mean, I had the subs. I had a really nice system. I spent a lot of money on that system. I had nice new speakers, replaced all the other ones. I had the 2 Rockford Fosgate 10-inch subs, and that thing, sounded pretty good.
It pounded pretty hard.
And it was a 5-speed with a huge stick shift, and I had the skull knob on there and tinted windows. I mean, it was a sweet ride, and I had the fake rims. It was before you could have spinners.
Yes.
So I had it was just hubcaps that looked like rims.
Whereas my LeSabre was just a maroon 88 LeSabre with a shit ton of miles. It had like 168,000 miles when I bought it.
But the stereo wasn't too bad in that, just for this. I mean, you put the new CD player
I put a Pioneer 1000 series CD deck that was in that car, and then I put it in the Escort, and then it just died last year, and then I put in another Pioneer, and then the Escort died. But the LeSabre was missing the right rear hubcap because of an incident where we were trying to see if we could get that thing up to 100 miles an hour. So somewhere on I-35 it popped off.
Yeah.
And I'd like to point out that when you went to sell the Blazer, you parked it at a gas station overnight, and it was broken into.
Yes.
It was burgled.
I had a nice security system on it and everything, and it was on a busy road, Highway 55, and just like right away it gets broken into. And it's like after that I was kind of like, I'm never going to invest in this shit again.
Or leave a car that I have for sale in a public parking lot.
Well, I figured with the security system it'd be fine, but it was kind of annoying that it happened. But
kind of
you live and learn.
It's actually, it's not really annoying.
The funny story about that is, so it gets broken into, and so the driver window smashed. We ordered a new window, and what I'm guessing is they did is, because it was actually the driver's side window, is they smashed that window, popped the hood right away, and then just went and cut the battery lines.
Why?
Or the security megaphone thing, I think is what they cut, and it's under the hood. But I ended up selling that car, right? So I had it for sale, and we bought a new window, but we never installed it. We sold it, and all the speakers were ripped out. It was just, everything was just taken from it. But so they bought it for like $1,600, and the people paid me cash. We signed over the title, and they're supposed to. It's up to them. They're the ones who are supposed to transfer it. And so, like about a year and a half later, I get a call from some random towing company. It's like, hey, you have this 1988 Blazer, and I'm like, I did a long time ago. I sold that. And he's like, well, we towed it from downtown Minneapolis, and we've had it sitting here for a while. It's under your name. Do you want to come and get it? And I'm like, man, I sold that car a long time ago. And he's like, all right, that's all I need to know. And then that was the end of that. But
they never swapped the title.
No shit, Sherlock.
No, but what they could have done, I could have done is just applied for a lost title card and
got it back,
gotten my title back, and then just had a key made.
Whereas I sold the LeSabre. I bought the Escort because the tranny and the LeSabre started slipping.
Yep. Oh, I remember.
And my dad was willing to let them take $100 on a trade. I'm like, no. Are you out of your mind? Which, by the way, when the guy took the test drive to check out what the LeSabre was worth, he's like, oh, so the tranny slipped. And my dad's like, oh, the tranny slipped? And I looked at him like, are you fucking serious?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
He's horrible.
It used to hit hard. I remember we were going and just bonk. Conk.
It gets stuck in first gear for a while. So I held on to that, and I sold it to some mechanic who was going to put a new tranny in for $400. And I bet you he didn't even have that car for 4 months after he bought it and fixed it up.
If he fixed it up at all.
No, he did.
Oh.
He did. He drove it around a little bit, but it
that
died. Something else died.
We got 4 times what you were originally going to get for it.
Well played,
unlike my Shadow, the Dodge Shadow, which was a really fast car. It was a Dodge Shelby Shadow, which, I mean, it was pretty rare. It was only like one of 2,000 because it had the badge right in there.
Right.
And so all the Shelby parts, these Shelby Dodge guys, this is like more of like early college years when I bought that. But all these Shelby Dodge guys, there's a huge following. At least there was back then. So like the Shelby stuff was always worth money. I bought that car for I just made a really lowball deal to this car dealer. It was a Mitsubishi dealer, and they had that there. And I'm just like, I'm gonna lowball. I'm gonna offer them like $2,200 because they were asking like $4,000.
Jesus.
And I don't know how long they had it there, but I just go, I'm just gonna offer him $2,200. And he goes to talk to his manager. They take it, so I just write him a check. And
you're like, yes.
Yeah, and that car was really fast. I mean, it was turbo. It was insanely fast. We used to go rice hunting because that was back after Fast and the Furious was released.
You cut me off at the pass. I was going to say the thing that's really wiggerish and gangster about that is after Fast and the Furious, you started doing a lot of late night
Street racing
and like industrial parks. And I can't tell you how many hundreds of Asian people I met because of that.
Oh, really?
I would not think there were that many Asian people around these parts. And then once you started drag racing that shit, I was like, there are so many fucking Asian people here. And one night in particular, we went to some race, and there were like 300 Asian kids. Everybody's really fucking cool. I'm not like bringing up that they're Asian.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fucking Asians. That's not what I'm getting at.
Well, the one time we went to some random place, because we used to go down to University and cruise there, and they had the import lot.
Yeah.
And then they had, like the main muscle cars and stuff that hung out in the other areas.
No, this is you, me, and Scott. And that industrial park.
Yeah.
And you were racing some kid who we thought that he had nitrous in his car.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, but the reason we went to that spot is because after everybody met up at University, they had like different spots that they would go out and drag at. And this is some industrial park that they knew. And when we went out there, this kid wouldn't open his hood. Like, I opened my hood because I didn't have much done to that car.
Right.
And it was fast as hell. And so we raced some kid in some Honda. I don't know if it was a CR-V or it might have been a CRX or whatever. Or it was a Civic. I think it was a CRX. But he wouldn't open his hood.
Why?
He had a nitrous kid.
Yeah, I mean, we thought he had nitrous or something done to it. And he barely beat me. We raced him a couple times. Like, he just barely beat me. And I figured I could try to take him if I shift a little bit better. But we were the only white guys there, me, you, and Scott.
And I'd just like to point out that the kid that wouldn't pop his hood, he had like a NASCAR style safety seatbelt, and then he wore a crash helmet when he'd race, and he had his girlfriend in the car with him, and she just had a regular belt.
Yeah, I know.
No helmet.
He had the
like,
harness.
Seriously, dude?
A 4-point harness or a 5-point, and he would wear the helmet, and she would just be with him.
We weren't bad kids, but we did some really fucking questionable things.
Yeah.
Like a prank call, and this is where I'm going to wrap the show up.
Kids are assholes.
Kids are assholes, but I was going to say there's this chick in high school that I lost my virginity to. I lost my virginity to a chick who was kind of a slut.
And her nickname?
SS the SS.
Psycho the super slut.
Yeah, I'll have to bleep that. I was trying to not say her name. Thanks. So I one day saw her at school, and she asked me if I'd buy her a pop because she didn't have any money. I'm like, well, yeah, if you give me a blowjob. And she's like, fine, whatever. I'm like, my God, no way.
It worked.
Yes! So fast forward to like 20 minutes later, we're on the smoking trail behind school. Mm-hmm. And she's like, do I really have to suck your dick? I'm like, you don't have to, but I'd appreciate it. So she's sucking my cock. And I'm just like, I can't believe this worked. And I'm like, I'm on a roll today. I'm like, you're doing a really good job, but why are we bullshitting? We both know we want to fuck. She's like, okay. I'm like, oh, what? I didn't say it out loud. I'm like, okay, I'll lay this towel down. It was so awkward. I laid down this Valley Fair towel that I had bought while I was on a youth trip for church in junior high. And I banged her awkwardly, and then I couldn't fucking stay hard because I was so nervous.
Giggity.
And yeah, it was a terrible experience because she was not that attractive. And you would think that you would want your first sexual experience with intercourse to be special. Mine was not.
Yeah, but then after that, you tried hooking me up with her and gave me her number.
Did I?
Yep, and then we used to call her on the payphone.
Yes, that's where I was getting at. Is we'd prank call her, and you could do 1-800-COLLECT.
Yep.
And it would say on the other end to the recipient, you have a collect call from. I would say, your daughter's a whore. And her dad would not accept the charges. And one time I called again, I'm like, I had sex with your daughter.
You have a collect call from, I had sex with your daughter.
Yeah.
Will you accept the charges?
No. He always be like, no, who is this? And then it would hang up. Thank God they had that payphone up at the lake so that we could entertain ourselves on all those hot summer nights.
We called so many people.
Yeah. There you go. We committed petty crimes in our teenage years. Interact with the show on Twitter at Blumpkin Show. That is at Blumpkin Show. You can find the show's page on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/Blumpkin, A-N-D, Friends. I'm the Reverend Johnny Blumpkin.
Neil.
Yeah, I was wondered what you were going to do there. Good night. Yay, yay! It's the fucking Chronic.